Hi folks, Bob Collins for Diver Supply. In this video, we're going to be talking about staff picks for dive computers for 2022. And I've got a real treat. I've actually got some of the staff that's going to come out, be on camera to give you their staff picks and why they like those specific dive computers. Stick with me. So I told you folks we had a real treat in this particular video. I've got Ashley here. Ashley's the assistant manager here in the Jacksonville store. Some of you may have seen the video that she did about female BCDs. If you didn't, I'll put a link up here so that you can find that. And Ashley, so what's your thoughts about computer picks for 2022?
Well, for 2022, I just got back from a week in Bon Air, and I dove my big Shearwater all week long. It was wonderful, especially in the bright sunlight. That backlit screen is so important. But thinking about my next big trip and what I would have liked to have, the little Garmin, the MK2S, I could have worn it all day, every day. Would have been able to see it just fine in the sun. Because let's be honest, I love my petrol, but it's not cute to wear to dinner. So this would have matched my sundresses and done everything I needed to do in the water.
So you do quite a bit of tech diving as well as being an instructor here with Diver Supply.
As much as I can.
Yeah. So that's why she was saying petrol. She loves the
petrol. It does everything. Does everything.
But this is so
doesn't
much
match my dresses. No.
What about your middle pick? So we would say that's kind of your top pick?
Definitely, absolutely.
What would be your middle pick?
Middle pick for me would probably be the Peregrine here. Like I said, I'm already in love with my petrol. I've been using it for years now. It's rugged. It does everything I need it to do. Again, the screen is phenomenal, and this is just kind of like the pared down, not quite so expensive option. I've run one of these as a backup on tech dives before, and I have to say, like, it does a really good job mirroring what's on my, bigger computer.
Super easy to see, color.
Yeah. I'd recommend this to like any entry-level diver, or even a diver who's looking to grow with their computer, for sure.
Yeah, the Peregrine's a great pick.
Yeah, one of the most popular computers we sell here, for sure.
So in the kind of the lower expense area, what would you pick?
So I've also had an i200 for quite a few years now. It was actually a hand-me-down from Bob here, and I'm still using it when I teach in the pool. It doesn't have the color screen that these other two computers do, but I have to be honest, like, it does quite a bit for a computer that's, relatively inexpensive, and, it wears much better than the giant puck, especially for, women or anyone with just a smaller wrist. And while it doesn't have the color screen, one thing I really like about this computer is the fourth button on here is like a backlight only button. So when you need the screen to glow, there's like absolutely no confusion about which button you need to push. And for, like I said, a small and expensive computer, it does a lot of what most divers need it to do.
Yeah, so all of these are nitrox adjustable. I'm not going to say compatible, but adjustable. So, and I think we see that pretty much across the board in virtually all the computers today. Even the least expensive ones today are nitrox. So if you're nitrox certified, then any of these is going to work great for you. Is there maybe a also ran that you would throw out there, or is this?
I'm also a huge fan of this Tarek, back to the top of our price range here. But again, I'm a huge fan of Shearwater. They make a fantastic computer. This one is not going to look as cute at dinner as the little MK2S here, but it definitely does a lot more. It does like all the full tech integration, air integration, and it's, if I had to venture, like a more rugged computer than the pretty little Garmin one here.
Yeah, you really can't discount the fact that a computer like either one of these, this is a little bit big, but either one of these is so nice to be able to get out of the water when you're on vacation or on a dive trip. You're not having to take it off and put it somewhere.
Worry about losing an expensive watch.
Yeah. And the fact that the Mark IIs not only is so much more convenient size-wise, it's got a lot more ability as far as the activities and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, and all the smart notifications and the phone calls. I mean, to me, like for something that you would wear all day, every day, like this one is definitely the best choice out of the case.
Good, good. Thanks, Ash.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thanks, Bob.
Stick around. Here we are with Justin. Justin is one of our instructors. He works out here on the sales floor. He does some IT stuff. And of course, he's an SDI instructor. So Justin, what's your staff pick for 22 as far as computers go?
I would say for my top pick, I would definitely go with something like the MK2i. This is the MK2S, but the MK2i with the ability to have the transmitter attached to it. It's got a bigger display, and it's got all the wonderful features that you get with the Garmin Dive computer, including tracking just about everything that you could think of, from yoga to golfing to, of course, scuba diving and all the details that go along with it. It's just a really nice computer that I like, and it's really popular out here on the sales floor. When I'm talking to customers, they immediately see something like that, and they have a lot of questions. So
you're probably going to hear the Mark II-i as the top pick for many of the staff. I think you just about being the top pick for the mass majority of folks here in the shop.
Yeah, like what you're saying. I mean, there's easily 3 or 4 of our instructors that wear the Garmin MK2i on a regular basis.
Now, what about like a middle pick, Just?
Middle pick for sure is going to be the Shearwater Peregrine. Every dive trip that I've been on this year, I've seen people who are pulling these out of their dive equipment, and of course, I've sold all of the ones that we've had here in the store this year. They're just so popular, we can't hardly keep our hands on them. They've got some of the best features. The display is great. It does everything that you could want from a recreational computer. And then, of course, if you want a transmitter, you can just upgrade to a Perdix, and it's basically the same thing. And it's got the wireless recharge. So yeah, super simplistic, easy to use, and yeah, I just love selling this computer.
One of the things that you'll notice about the Peregrine is the fact that the menu is so easy to maneuver through.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of times when folks come in, and I did a video on the Peregrine, a lot of times when people come in, the first 2 questions are usually how much does it cost? And the other is how easy is it to use?
Absolutely.
Because some of the computers, you push a button and you hold it and you stomp your foot 3 times and turn around and stuff to try to get them to work.
They can be a little overly complicated, and this is actually one computer that I really like showing when I'm doing nitrox classes, because demonstrating how to set up a computer with a computer like this, it just makes it super simple. And usually that customer, if they don't already have one, they'll usually turn around and buy something like this.
See, so that's a little bit of an echo of what I was saying with Ashley about these are all nitrox compatible, but some of them are easier to get into nitrox mode or to adjust your fraction of oxygen or whatever it happens to be than some of the other ones. So what about your baseline pick for maybe an entry diver?
Definitely the i200. As far as this computer goes, this is my daily diver, you could call it. I keep it attached to my BCD all the time.
So you've got one of these,
this is
right?
this is what I'm wearing right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I also have an i550 Aqua Lung console, but in terms of wrist computers, this computer is by far the easiest, and it's just the most familiar to me. I've been using a computer similar to this for a long time. Some of you may be familiar with the Aries ATMOS, which is an older discontinued computer. This is like the new revamped Aqua Lung version of that computer. And one of the main features on this computer that I really like is the indicator light. Whenever it's beeping, has some alarm that's going off for you, you can look at the watch and you can see visually that there's something going on your computer, especially if I'm in the water with students and things like that. There can be a lot of beeping going on. it's nice to know whose computer is the one that's alarming.
And one of the features that's really starting to come in on computers now, it's like on the Peregrine and on some of the other computers, is the visual alarm is important. On the older ones, it was just an audible,
Right.
and then there would be an alarm show up on the computer per se.
Yeah.
But now vibration has come into play, and the Peregrine and a few of the others, like the ATMOS and some of those, have started to implement the vibration. So it's, if you don't see it, it's saying, "Hey fool, pay attention."
Yeah, look
here.
at me, look at me.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So that's Justin's picks, and we're going to take a look at George's picks, and then I'll probably end up getting one or two more, and that's it. Stick with us.
Thanks.
I want you guys to meet George. George is one of the instructors here at Diver Supply Jacksonville, and he's also our tech and other assorted jobs. He works on the sales floor. He does tank viz and hydros, and you name it, George does it. So he's a pretty knowledgeable fella. So George, tell us what your picks are for 22.
For the top end, I would say the Garmin Mark II-i. It's the computer that I dive. For middle, I would go with the Peregrine. It's very user-friendly. The app is user-friendly. And for the lower end, but maybe a little high on the lower end, the i330, either the console or wrist computer. Again, the app is very user-friendly. Aqua Lung is a great company. So those are my picks.
What really impresses you about the Mark II? You own one, you have one.
Correct.
We don't have one here to show you right now. The Jacksonville store is out of stock on them right now, but if you'll hit the link down below, I'm sure we've got some in the warehouse up in Macon. But so what impresses you so much about the i?
The air integration portion of it is amazing. The amount of transmitters that you can have on it, the fact that if you're diving with a buddy, you can actually see their air, and they don't have to be, wrapped around your neck to be able to see their air. So the distance between you can be a little bit of distance and still see that air. But the everyday use of all the other apps that it has as well is amazing.
Yeah, and the functionality and the user interface
Is also
is very simple, very easy to work through, right?
Very easy to work through. The app gives you more information that you could ever imagine, especially when you're diving and your dive log. Simple things like the environmental air, the air around you when you started your dive. It puts that into the app when you upload all your dive logs into the app. Things like that, the entrance point, the exit point of your dive that you won't see with other computers.
So it's got a really good phone app that you're able to connect to, that sort of thing. And of course, you mentioned the Peregrine. What's the big draw to you about the Peregrine?
Especially for newer divers, the Peregrine is very easy to see. Those of you who wear glasses, very large numbers, easy to see, very bright. Again, user interface with the app is really great.
One of the other things that is kind of interesting about the Peregrine, it comes like this, and you're able to put either a bungee. If you're wearing a dry suit or something like that, you're able to put a bungee on it. It also comes with a really nice long silicone strap that is easy to change and swap out, that sort of thing. It comes with its own wireless charger. You just take it and lay it on the charger and it charges up. And it will actually use many of the inductive type chargers that are already out there, which is pretty cool, that sort of thing. And your bottom pick was when I say bottom pick, I don't mean it any disrespect, but the bottom pick would be, of course, the i330R. It's a color screen,
Yep.
which is really nice. And today, color screens are becoming very, very popular.
Just a lot easier to see than an LCD screen. What I really like about the app that you use with the Aqua Lung Computer is when you download your dive, if you are at the location that you are diving, you can actually use the GPS location from your phone, and that'll transfer over so that you have a location in your log of where that dive actually happened, which I think is brilliant. The fact that you can change the settings of your computer, whether it be nitrox or anything else, and then push that from your phone back to the computer so it basically talks both ways, I think that was genius as well.
I think a lot of people find the fact that it's easy to adjust things in your phone than it is to try to search through the computer to try to find it. So a lot of these apps even have things like if you take a picture during a dive, the metadata that's in the photo, you can embed that into your dive profile per se,
Right.
and it'll actually show up when you review it and like to look back on your dives and know when you took that picture and such. But George, appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm here with Brittany. Brittany is one of our store managers. She's also a very accomplished diver, and she's an instructor here with us with SDI and has a lot of experience in the industry and as a diver. So what do you think would be your picks, Brittany, for 2022?
If I was getting an entry-level computer, I would go with the i300 because it's a really reliable startup computer.
Okay.
Somewhere in the middle, I would probably go with the Peregrine. Super easy to see, super easy to use. And as like a higher end computer, I actually have the i770, but if I had the money to go further, I would go with one that's the Garmin, their new MK2i.
So as an entry-level diver, what is interesting about the i300 to you? What capabilities does it have that you kind of like?
It's super easy to see. It's only got 2 buttons, so it's really, really easy to use. And I've used it before when I was using rentals way back when, and it's a really reliable computer.
And this is compatible Bluetooth, is it not?
Yeah, almost all of Aqua Lung's computers now will Bluetooth directly to an app that you put on your phone.
Okay. And I think you kind of like the i330R a little bit too, don't you?
I do.
Kind of an also ran for you?
So this one's also super easy to see because it does have a color screen. Well, and that color just cuts through any visibility, no matter what you're diving in.
Yeah. Any other also rans maybe?
I would say for another top pick, the Tarek is a fantastic computer as well.
Yeah, that's the Shearwater Tarek that a couple of people have mentioned in the other little little video snippets. So I appreciate you doing this. Thanks for
Not a
your
problem.
input. All right, that's Brittany.
Hello.
So that was a fun look at the 2022 staff picks for dive computers. I appreciate all the staff members coming out, taking a couple of minutes to give their input on what they think would be a great pick for you. Hopefully you found some of this information helpful. If you've got other questions, post them in the comments below. Give us a call. The phone number here in Jacksonville will be listed below. Our 800 number for Diver Supply will be listed below. And of course, you can Google us and find us on the website. Again, I'm Bob Collins for Diver Supply. Thanks for watching. And as I always say, dive safe out there.